What is happening, everybody? Welcome back to the Smooth Plays podcast. I'm Austin Plays, aka Austin, joined again by Dean, aka Mr. Smooths.
Yes, sir. Happy to be here.
Well, look, we're in the playoffs still. All right, still talking about look, championship Sunday, conference championship games. This playoffs hasn't been everything that we thought it would for us at least. You go back to that wild card round, we were off. All right.
It's been great to watch, but our picks have
No,
not been
absolutely.
great.
Yeah. Super entertaining. Super entertaining to watch. But yeah, for us personally, we've been off on our picks.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, wild card round was rough. I got one pick maybe of that wild card round. And then divisional round, I think I got two or three. So, we're moving in the right direction. Um, I know your wild card round wasn't very good either. And I think you went 50 on your, like
Yeah.
50-50 on your
50-50 on
divisional
it.
round. So, hey, we're moving in the right direction. And
Yeah.
championship Sunday's here. Let's just go two for two. All right. Let's just go two for two and we'll be good.
It should be easy to go two for two, right?
Right. Look, we can do two for two in our sleep.
Yeah.
You don't even have to do any sort of research or anything. Like two for two, cakewalk. All right. So what do you want to start with? You want to start in the AFC or the NFC?
I say we go the first game's NFC, so we start with the NFC.
I like that. Yeah, I think our AFC matchup is definitely worth
That's the cream of the crop.
yeah, that's worth closing out. So, not to discredit this NFC Championship game, I'm super excited for this NFC Championship game. My guy Jaden Daniels and the Washington Commanders. Who'd have thought going in a rookie quarterback nonetheless, going into arguably one it's either one or two. I'd say it's between Detroit and Kansas City right now. As the top two most hostile environments in terms of like crowds. I think obviously the Bills are up there as well. A lot of that has to do with their weather and everything that plays into it. But, you know, Detroit for a rookie quarterback to go in there and handle business. 41, what was it? 41? 45 points put up on this Detroit Lions squad.
And they really didn't get a stop. They got the stop at the beginning of the game when they tried to go for it on fourth down. And other than that, I don't remember that defense getting a stop the whole game.
Yeah, I think what we're seeing from Jaden Daniels and this look, we talked about it in the beginning of the season with this Washington team. This was a team that, in the beginning of the year they were just behind, like a locker room was behind Jaden Daniels, and they just showed like a belief in everything they got going on. When talent wise, they really weren't on par with a lot of these, now we're in the championship game, playoff contenders, at least talent wise, they weren't on par, but they just believe in their guy and they believe in the cause that they got going on. And they're the Bucks and Detroit Lions. Those are two teams that I would have said both have legitimate shots at being in this position that Washington's in right now.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Both of those teams, but Washington shut them both down.
I mean,
And
so what does that tell you about Washington?
arguably, yeah, I mean, that tells you that Washington's a pretty darn good football team. That's what it tells you. But arguably, I think this might be their toughest challenge yet, being that it's in Philly. You know that fan base is crazy, especially for a game like this, but
Oh
also
yeah.
because this is a divisional game. I
Hmm.
mean, we don't see divisional games in the NFC Championship that often,
No.
and it should be a fun one.
I
Uh,
mean, yeah, this is their third time facing each other this year, so both teams are very familiar with what they got going on both sides of the ball. So, I expect this one to be just a dogfight.
oh
Like,
yeah.
this is going to be a rough, like, who's honestly, I think it's going to come down to the physicality, who's going to be more physical. And honestly, I don't know. I think both these teams, what they want to, can be really physical.
Yeah, I do. I just think that Eagles O line. I think that Eagles O line with that running game is like the most. Maybe Derrick Henry and the Ravens are a little more physical, but other than those two, like those are the top two most physical offensive lines, I think.
Yeah. But we're getting into our game. All right, we've talked a little bit about both teams, but at the end of the day, both these teams are, in my mind, both these teams deserve to win this
Oh,
game. And make a Super Bowl. But unfortunately, there can only be one. And in a third matchup, I mean, the Eagles are favored by 6 points. So what are your thoughts on, a pick? How can you pick, honestly?
I mean, we got to be rooting for the Cinderella, right? I do think I don't know Jalen Hurts was banged up in the Rams game. The Eagles offense hasn't looked great. With that being said, the Washington does play a lot of man to man, and we saw even Mike Evans was torching them. AJ Brown can have a big game today. I think that 6 is a lot of points in the NFC Championship, so I'm gonna take Washington plus 6. But I could see Philly going out there and playing a great game. Washington's too good to lose by more than 6.
Washington, I think it is definitely a Cinderella. I mean, I from a completely biased standpoint, being an LSU fan, obviously I'm pulling for Jaden. I mean, I want Washington to win. I want Jaden to be the first rookie quarterback to go and win a Super Bowl. I mean, that would be wild. Um, but at the same time, from a non-biased standpoint, I'd be remiss to not acknowledge just how on fire this Eagles team is offensively. I mean, I think it's going to come down. I know I said it's going to be a dogfight, but I think if Washington is going to win this game, it's going to come down to can they get. They're not going to stop this Eagles offense. They're just going to have to be able to slow them down for a couple of drives and kind of stall them out. And then is Washington's offense going to be the Washington offense we've seen the last couple of weeks? And are they going to stay hot and keep lighting it up? Unfortunately, three games in a row to be because that's been the recipe, honestly, the first two games. And I don't know if there'll be 3 games in a row against a team that's seen you already 2 times this year. I think that this Eagles defense is going to have a formula to
Yeah.
slow down Washington's offense, and I think Eagles are just I just think the Eagles are going to win. I just think that they're the better team up and down the roster. Um, but on a personal note, I will be rooting for Washington. I want Washington to win this game, but picking wise, I have to take the Eagles to win it, and I think that they'll probably cover the spread.
Yeah, I do think the Eagles will win. But you got to think too, Washington, yes, Detroit's a tough place to play, but just conditions wise, compared to this,
Oh yeah.
Detroit's in a dome, everything's pretty. Like this is going to be a nasty, cold, and the Eagles' defense is much more healthier than the Lions. I agree with you. I think they'll be able to slow down Washington. I'm going to hope that it's a competitive game and lean towards Washington plus 6, but I don't hate your pick.
Yeah, I mean, really, the thing behind my pick, it goes back to honestly the same reason why I wasn't a big fan to take Washington to win outright last week. It goes back to their run defense, which
Yeah.
the run defense was pretty good against Detroit, which it was surprising to me. They got to again, like same reason though, they got to go back to back and do the same thing. They got to stop Saquon Barkley now, who's winning Offensive Player of the Year, and I don't see it happening. I think that this Eagles team is honestly they're just going to be able to run all over Washington, and so that's my reason for picking the Eagles winning by 6.
I agree with you on that one, my friend.
So we're gonna close out that NFC game, and then I mean, how many times are we gonna say this? Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen meeting in the playoffs. I mean, this is what the third or fourth time I think they've met each other in the playoffs
I think it is.
in 6 years that they've both been starters.
This is Tom Brady, Peyton Manning type of stuff.
Well, so I saw something that was talking about, people hurrying up, calling this one a rivalry between the two. But I don't remember who I was watching, but they made a good point. You can't really call it a rivalry unless both sides are winning, and
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes has dominated, so it's more of a relationship than a rivalry.
Well, Allen actually has that lead in regular season games, but playoff games he hasn't beat Mahomes yet.
Exactly.
And let's be
That's
honest,
the only game that matters
that's
at
all
the
that
end of the
matters.
day.
Exactly.
So, I mean, in Kansas City, Buffalo going on the road. I mean, Buffalo came out of a scrappy win too. I mean, that was a crazy game in Baltimore, and I mean, I expect another really great game here in Kansas City. I mean, what is your take going into this one?
Well, first off, I want to say I can't wait to watch it because it's just going to be, like you said, an exceptional game. Um, I think the Bills' game formula to win has to be control the ball, control the clock, get James Cook and Josh Allen's legs going because the best defense for Mahomes in the playoffs is just not letting him get it. If the
Yeah.
Bills can stay on the field and control the clock, score, not get stopped, they have a very real shot to go in the Arrowhead and win.
Hmm.
With that being said, I'm not going to take it. I'm not going to bet against Patrick Mahomes at home in the playoffs. It's just I can't do that. So I'm going to take the Chiefs. I I it's a win-win for me. If the Chiefs win, my pick wins, and if the Bills win, I'm happy, but my pick loses. So it's cool.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think you and I are on the same page. It's so hard. Same reason why I picked the Chiefs last week. You can't bet against Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. I mean, and quite frankly, I mean, so what my thing is also I like Washington. Obviously, me rooting for Washington, I'm also rooting for Kansas City, honestly. If Washington wins, I'm rooting for Kansas City because I want to see history guaranteed. I want to see either a rookie quarterback winning a Super Bowl or I want to see the first three-peat in NFL history, right? So if Washington wins, I'm definitely going to be hoping to see Kansas City just because I think that's going to be the ultimate test, I guess, for this
Hmm.
Washington team, and it's just history versus history. Um, but looking at this AFC Championship game, I mean, this is going to be kind of my hot take, and you might think it's kind of spicy. This game's going to OT. You can chalk it up. It's going to OT because the last time that these teams met in the playoffs was a game that went to OT. Josh Allen never got the chance to touch the ball. And since then the rules have changed because of that game.
Yeah,
I How can this game not go to OT? Let's say Mahomes gets the ball first, Josh Allen goes down and gets a 2-point conversion and wins the game.
that would be pretty storybook stuff right
I
there.
mean, look, I'm not trying to, I'm not saying I'm gonna call my shot or anything, but I think that this game goes to OT and we see, just an instant classic.
Well,
Um,
who do you think wins?
I know, look, I know the storybook, obviously, what I just said would be that happening and the Bills coming out on top, but I'm right there with you. I can't bet against Mahomes in the playoffs.
Yeah,
I just think that this team is a dynasty. There's been controversy about this team, whether they're a dynasty or not. I don't understand where that comes from. Like, they're a dynasty, and this team has been told that they're still up in the air, and they feel like the only way to really cement it and the public's eye is to go out there and three-peat, be the first team to three-peat in NFL history. So,
yeah,
I mean, don't sleep on, they're just, oh, they've been here before and they're looking ahead to the Super Bowl. Don't think that at all.
yeah.
They are determined to go out there, handle business. They handled business last week, and I saw a Chiefs team that is the playoff Chiefs, not the regular season Chiefs that we saw all year this year. So I think this Chiefs team, that as healthy as they are, they're just loaded with weapons on offense and defense, and they're going to handle business at home. And I think they win this one. Give me the Chiefs.
Yeah, I agree with you. They're definitely not. If there's a team that puts one game at a time with a championship DNA, it's Kansas City. They're definitely
Mhm.
not looking ahead. I agree with you there. Um, I agree with you. I think Mahomes at home, man, it'd be pretty cool to see Josh Allen and the Bills go in there and win, though, wouldn't it?
Oh, I'm not. No, don't get me wrong. There's a reason why the entire nation is pulling for the Bills to win this game, unless you live in the Kansas City or Texas area. But yeah, Chiefs are winning this game, man. Come on. Don't overthink it.
So we're thinking a Chiefs Eagles rematch.
I'm thinking a Chiefs Eagles rematch is the most likely scenario, but I'm pulling for Washington, and
Buffalo.
I would love to see Josh Allen go into Kansas City and punch his ticket. I mean, so in our group chat, as soon as I saw that Josh Allen got engaged to Haley Steinfeld, I said jokingly, "Oh yeah, you can chalk this one up. The Bills are winning the Super Bowl because Haley got a ring. Josh is gonna go out and get a ring."
Hey, It
I
might
mean,
happen.
so there's things going on, all right, the behind the scenes that are definitely playing into factor. Um, but look, regardless, Championship Sunday, we got two great games, and I think both games are gonna come down to the wire. I got the Bills and Chiefs. I got them going into OT. I mean, what more could you ask for on Championship Sunday?
Nothing more than that, my friend.
All right. So, I mean, that's it. We only got two games.
Yeah,
So, is there anything you want to close this out with?
I got nothing, man. Let's hope for a Bills Commanders Super Bowl. That's what I'm rooting for.
The nation is pulling for Bills and Commanders, but unfortunately, I think we're getting what we all thought we'd get with Kansas City and Philly. Regardless, I think whoever wins both these games, I mean, both are like all four of these teams are very deserving. The years that they've had, ups and downs for sure, and you can't you got to feel good for whoever wins regardless. So big congrats to all four of these teams for even getting into this position, and then
Yeah,
best of luck to whoever goes on and wins the Super Bowl. So we'll tackle that one on another day, but we're gonna close this one out. We got a lot, I think, planned for this next coming week, and then obviously the Super Bowl. So make sure you guys stay tuned because we're gonna be coming at you with some stuff that I'm pretty excited for. And yeah, you got anything else?
I got nothing. Let's watch some good football today, baby.
Yes, sir. All right. Well, that's going to close out. Thank you all for tuning in. Leave a like, subscribe, and make sure you leave a comment. All right. Help that algorithm out. Put us out there for the world. And we'll make sure to keep y'all updated and tune in on the next one. Appreciate y'all stopping by.